Hi everybody, this is Erin, and I'm going to be walking you through my getting ready period. This is me basically getting ready for a work shift at my job. This is a period of about 45 minutes total. I did edit it down just a little bit lower than that for your benefit. That way you're not seeing me, trying to decide between mascaras, trying to decide between eyeshadow palettes, so you'll mostly just see me grab different products and start applying. I do actually have a slide. The very end of this video is, it does say what face spray, what eyeshadow, and mascara, and things like that that I used. I'll go ahead and narrate those as best I can as I go. And yes, you'll see my hair is definitely in the grow out phase. I've been joking the last little bit that my hair really does look like Logan. To do like the Wolverine joke is really what I feel like I look like. I did put my acrylic tapers back in. So you'll see that's the Milani eyeliner, my Topic that I've been using. That's a hair volumizer basically, and that's my 3-in-1 hangover overnight spray from Too Faced. Also using my Rare Beauty foundation in shade CS1C1. I believe that's shade Sand in her realm. This is Rare Beauty. It's the one that is made by, I believe, Selena Gomez's brand. So you'll see me just kind of start to get everything organized. I tend to group my products together when I'm getting ready really quickly, so I'll put like my eyeliners together, my mascara together, all my eye products. And you'll see this is my Size Up mascara from the Sephora brand. And you'll see me kind of sort through. I was messing around on my phone a little bit. I always have music on when I'm getting ready. And like you might have seen the banner on the bottom, I was listening to horror podcasts as I was getting ready. Just so happened. So it looks like I sorted that out, fast forwarded whatever I was doing, skipping songs. And you'll see me kind of go in with mirror here. This is the Catsuit liquid eyeshadow. This is a product that I've shown off in at least one of my videos not too long ago in my Boston video. This is the Wet n Wild Catsuit trio that I picked up. So it's a liquid eyeshadow. I've had some difficulty only because I don't really care for the applicator. Their eye wand that comes with this product really isn't too different from a lip wand that they'd be putting in a gloss or something like that. So it's really not the most eye-friendly, not always the most flattering shapes. It really does take a lot more maneuvering, usually with a better brush. So what I'll do is I'll put a liquid down first, and then I'll put a powder product over that, which I believe is fairly common knowledge for anybody who's been doing their makeup for a while. I don't believe I do too much in the way of foundation until the end of this video. Sometimes, in order to speed the process along, I will do my eye makeup first, even though that's I'd say that's much more seldom. For me, I almost always do my face first. But for people who experience like maybe a lot of eyeshadow fallout, or maybe you know that you have like a heavier hand or something with eyeliner, or if you're not feeling that confident, you really might just want like that clean base that you can just go into the makeup wipe and wipe it off. So yeah, this is me showing them that liquid Catsuit. This is Well, it's much too small of a font, but I believe that's also shade or sand. It's a very, very neutral tone. It has sort of the reflex in it. This is a foundation stick, and I want to say this is brand Pure, P-U-R, and I've had 2 sticks from them. I really don't personally, it's not something I favor. I prefer doing like traditional foundation pumps with a beauty blender, only because I think that they give you a much better final look. With the sticks as well, there's like sort of this pulling motion that happens as you're like dragging something across your face. Kind of makes you feel like you're, you know, the same effect that you would have if you're like dragging a glue stick or something, or dragging a marker across paper. It's really like pulls your face that little bit, and I don't really always care for that. As I had a blurb about before, you'll see me make a lot of faces because I was listening to, I believe I was listening to either a cult's podcast on Spotify. I have a couple that I've been listening to on Spotify. I've been listening to one called Cults. I've been listening to the MLM, like anti-MLM podcasts that are presented by so I did just pause to look it up, and in doing so, I ended up looking up, her name is Blair. I don't know why I was blanking so badly, but Blair the Illuminati videos. She'll do like MLMs and sort of history of different companies. She does a line of videos called Corporate Casket that I tend to watch kind of as they come out. I almost always have background noise on. I like the Try Wives podcast sometimes. I feel like throughout the pandemic I've really just been consuming more audio than I think I ever have in my lifetime, which is really, really saying something. I've been all through Magnus Archives twice. I'm now listening to Rusty Quill Gaming podcast. I have, I believe, listened to every single Bill Nye podcast, Neil deGrasse Tyson's podcast. I was, for a long, long time, listening to the Bob Saget's Here For You podcast, which was his answer to, like, sort of a call Bob Saget for advice podcast, which was actually really uplifting and heartwarming to listen to. It's a little bit sad to talk about right now, actually. I kind of got choked up a little bit, but you got to see like fans of his stand-up, fans of AFV, fans of Full House, of course, fans of, you know, his charity work and different things. So you'll see me kind of go through, this is me going back in. This Rare Beauty also has this applicator similar to the Neutrogena bottle. It has that cat paw style of like, you cannot really get another brush in there. You'll see me start to do like a little bit of face contouring here. This is pretty much my bread and butter routine, is I'll do like my forehead and the middle of my nose highlighted, and then you sort of like, you might have heard me say toast the edges, or you might have heard other people say that's where you really just kind of bronze the upper forehead hairline area, and you bronze the cheekbones. It's sort of like a C shape. I'll have to go through that in a more detailed way later. I am actually planning on doing more live makeup videos. I'm just trying to figure out a consistent schedule. Like I said, I do have a couple different projects I'm trying to balance. But because I did the eyeshadow and my brows as the very first thing that I kind of wanted to get out of the way today, I'm now basically trying to not smudge that as I apply the foundation. That's really what I don't enjoy always. It's like you can apply your foundation after your brows or your brows after your foundation, and sometimes if you bleed over, you really just have to make sure you go in with a Q-tip or you go in with that little bit of concealer to kind of make that difference. Make sure you're not having anything too blotchy. This is the NYX foundation, and you'll see me start to go in just sort of right by cheekbone area. This is the darker foundation, which we had talked about before. So much of it is based around what your face shape is. So as much as I can tell you what works for me, I tend to have what is traditionally called a heart-shaped face. And this is to do with my widow's peak, which is the hairline like right in the middle of the forehead. I think a lot of people are familiar with that term. So you see me just kind of brushing in and over, in and around, kind of creating that apple zone for the cheeks. And again, when working with the public, I do have my mask on, so it's a little bit more. There are points where I really do ask, like, why did I do this, or what did I, like, why did I put a full face of makeup on today if I know I'm going to put a mask on? And really, it is just such a hard habit to break. Even today, like, in doing this makeup, I knew I really wanted to do, like, half, you know, I knew that I was going to put a mask on. I was trying to make a conscious effort. But it's just challenging to, like, I feel like no matter what I do, even if I put makeup on only, like, my eye area, I'll somehow end up with makeup on my mask. So I always do my nose. It's just out of habit. I feel like my nose is something I've been self-conscious about for a lot of my life because I have a larger nose. So you kind of want to do the same process as you would if you were painting, like actually painting your face. If you're an artist of any other kind, if your mediums are like actual painting, acrylic painting, or oil painting, you'll always want to have, like, wherever the light hits and you want to bring attention to, that's what you put the lighter color on. So that's what you do with here. You're basically creating that brighter under eye, your brighter extension of the eye socket. You're highlighting that underbrow area to give, like, that really stark contrast of perhaps you're trying to bring a cut crease attention to your eye area if you're doing, like, a very, very vivid shadow arrangement of 4 or 5 different shadows that you want to present as perhaps like a rainbow eye or something of that nature. But back to, you can see me just kind of walking through. This is just a brown eye pencil, and then you'll see me go in with another eye tool over pencil. So what was going on is I know I was looking at my phone a fair amount through this video, but I actually had what was called a floating shift. So because of the Super Bowl, I was not really sure if I was going to be needed. I wasn't sure if the place I was working would be busy enough to warrant me going in with another person already there. Wasn't really sure. Plus, once again, just like last year, the weather during the Super Bowl was abysmal. We had just a little bit of flurries, and then the visibility was uncomfortable. So yes, you just saw me hold up. There was an iced LA colors or LA pigment that I held up there, and it was sort of this midnight blue powder with a lot of shimmer. Has a lot of mica in these. So as much as I don't use them a lot, I will break them out if I know I'm going to do like a midnight blue. So this is sort of like whenever I do a blue eye, it's not always completely like blue tones for me because I have like a hazel, darker hazel eye situation. I feel like I always put tan or brown as my base. And then I tend to gravitate more towards like green eye pencils, or perhaps like why I use the maroon pencil so much is because it really does help bring out the green in my eyes, which is usually what I'm looking for. But I've been trying to go back and not do like the same eye looks every day. So you'll see me kind of go carefully, and really packing that blue. Not really like spreading the shadow out. I'm really just kind of trying to collect it, pack it on the brush, and then press it like right into that pencil so that it kind of hugs what's left of the wet shadow and it kind of goes right in over the pencil that I have just put down. So kind of starting with the outer eye, pulling that blue in forward, and then you'll eventually see me do that little bit of blend, and the Milani eye liner will be coming up. The blue eyeliner will go right over this blue eyeshadow. I know we've talked a little bit about there is sort of this wet dry product placement that happens because ultimately you really want your makeup to kind of look like skin, at least the foundation. Like you can do your bright eye colors, you can do your bright you know, a really big bold highlight, or really stark contour that you might want to bring attention to. But at the end of the day, if you're using multiple colors, you're mostly going to want it to meld together and kind of have all that product stay put. So that's where you get, I tend to, whenever I can get away with it, I will sit as long as I feel like it's necessary in my vanity, because I feel like you put your moisturizer on, like before anything else happens that day. You're usually brush your teeth and put your moisturizer on. If you know you're going to be spending time outside, you wear something with SPF, and that'll go right under your makeup, which might also have SPF in it. So yes, basically you do a primer after you are done with your moisturizer. You put a primer on, and the primer will be different depending on what your goals are for that day. And then you put your first layer of foundation on. Here we go. You can see me starting to do like a Cleopatra eye, like the littlest bit at the inner corner, and of course I'm going to be making makeup faces, so please forgive me for permit those. Yeah, so you do primer, then you do foundation, and then you do the powder. Essentially that would lock in the liquid foundation, and whether or not you contour with liquid or with powder or with both will really depend on how drastic you want your contouring or how much definition you feel like you want in your makeup that day. So, and then once the powdering step is done, that's really where you tend to get the setting spray, which sort of, you can get setting sprays that give you like a blurring effect, you can get setting sprays that give you more of a shimmer, more of a shimmery look, and I will try and do like a base face only video in the near future. So you see me, I did end up pulling my liquid eyeliner down just a little bit. I would say about halfway down the lower, I was gonna say lower lash line. I think I did get just a little bit into my waterline. You can see me really getting into that detail here. I almost always use a handheld mirror, at least one handheld mirror. And if you were able to watch my Boston video, you would have seen me. I packed like 2 stationary mirrors. The one I'm holding was one of them, so I had this little silver mirror. I had a blue mirror with a plastic stand. And I had my Jeffree Star handheld mirror, which I think I was using fairly frequently. You can see me, again, unfortunately, time was of the essence, so I was doing a little bit of cleanup in a manner which I do not endorse. Do not tend to recommend going in and cleaning your eyeliner up with your finger, but sometimes time crunch is time crunch. And like I said, I was kind of just trying to keep an eye on my messages for and from my coworkers to see if they were having a yay or nay, you know, 1 if by land, 2 if by sea, please come in or please don't come in moment. I really like this particular mascara from Sephora. I think that even though it's not a waterproof formula, which I don't always love, I tend to use waterproof whenever humanly possible. I feel like I'm just, whether your eyes water or anything with allergies, or sometimes you get dry eye with the way the heat kicks on in the winter, for a lot of different reasons, I just prefer having waterproof mascara. It helped me look like a person sometimes last year when every single corner of my life hit the fan. So I'm really happy with the way the definition of my brows really like shows up here. I do have the brow fibers on. Again, I know I showed you and was speaking about that a little bit in my Boston video. This is a dual-ended stick where unfortunately the highlight part of the pencil did kind of bail, so now it's a 2-part product, but for me it's just the lash fibers, brow fibers rather, and they do sort of have the same concept as the mascaras you can buy with the liquid, like the white fibers that you put the first coat on and then you put the black coat over that. Here's actually a really good depiction of what I was trying to describe, and I think I've done so poorly a few times, but I basically do my lashes from underneath up. You do like that little bit of brush wiggle, kind of pull the product up, but you'll also see me do my downward motion. So from the space in between your eyelid and your lashes, I'll go down from there and do out and up. Basically to get both sides equally coated, really get that rounded effect, and you, again, with the help of some really funny mascara faces and a really good spoolie, you can really pull those lashes apart to avoid clumping. I don't think that all mascara clumping is bad, but I know that you don't want to look like you have like 5 or 6 eyelashes because they're all bunched together either. So you see me just kind of getting the shape. Although you're right, I do the innermost lashes tend to grow in really, really blonde for me. So here you'll actually see me do my lower lashes, which I tend to not do like super frequently. I feel like really that started for me during the pandemic. I always thought that doing your lower lash line never really did anything. But I think that now that we can only see so much of each other's faces, that something like this is super, it adds just like that little bit where you can't really see somebody's lipstick, you can't really see somebody's beauty mark where you might have been able to, you can't really use blush. A lot of those things that people used to take, a lot of pride in those details really are not capable of or not able to see, do, appreciate. And so yeah, you'll see me I end up checking my phone a lot through here. Like I said, I was figuring out whether or not I was going to be going into work because I did have a floating shift. So it was kind of like I wanted to get as ready as I could, but I wasn't really fully sure. And then you'll see me actually slowly kind of become more sure. This is me actually going through my phone messages and realizing that they do need me to come in. So thank you all very much for watching this quick little video I've put together. I'm going to be better at doing some more captioned videos. My current goal at this time is to become easier to follow along with if you'd like to.